Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following message that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? There are many times that I find myself blaming myself and regretting all the things that I did. But at the same time, I keep on telling myself that these things that I did, me visiting a traditional healer, even though I never wanted to, it was because of the things that my in-laws did to me. They mistreated me for a very long time. When I got married to my husband, I then went and I started staying with my in-laws. Well, my in-laws, they never loved me. They hated me, especially my husband's sisters. They had someone that they wanted to get married to their brother. So this girl, the story that my husband told me was that he had found her cheating on him and he didn't want to be with her anymore. But his sisters and my mother-in-law, they loved this young woman a lot. Actually, she would come each and every morning and she would do the duties as if she was my husband's wife. She will do all the duties that a daughter-in-law is supposed to do. And it was a terrible period in my life. But my husband kept on telling me that I was the love of his life and he was never going to abandon me. Well, later on in life, God changed my husband's fortune and destiny. My husband then got a promotion and he then took me to the city where I started staying in the city. But I had not forgotten what my in-laws had done to me. When I was now staying in the city, life had changed. I was now taking care of many of my relatives until my mom advised me and said, my daughter, this thing that you are doing, it is not okay. Can you see that here? There is none of your husband's relative that is staying with you. It is going to give him a lot of pain. He is the one that is providing for you, and he is the one who is taking care of your relatives. Just try to make him happy so that you can just live a peaceful life with him. Take one of his relatives and take care of one of his relatives and show him that you care for his relatives. Well, that was fine by me. I then took one of my husband's relative who was his sister, the last born in the family. She came and I then started taking her to school. As she was going to school, I then found out that she loved men a lot. And I would actually give her bad advice, encourage her to date a lot of guys. She was dating a lot of guys that it was so embarrassing. She would be beaten up by a lot of boys because she could not say no. In the same area that we were staying, I would tell her to date men that were already married because it was funny to me the way that she was sleeping around with all of these men. The advice that I gave her, it was bad advice. One day, when I was sitting with my little sister, who knew my pain because once when she had came to visit me, she had seen the way that my in-laws were insulting me. And she said, sister, this is really bad. The way that they are treating you, it is not a good thing. This is a toxic environment. But I stayed so that I can save my marriage. So when I started mistreating my sister-in-law, my sister, she was in support because she knew where I was coming from. My husband's sister, the one that I was staying with, she was notorious of lying when I was still staying with my mother-in-law. Sometimes everyone would have left me with her since she was the youngest. She would do some naughty stuff, and by the time that her parents would have returned back from working in the fields, then when they would find out that everything is just a mess, and she would lie that it is I who had told her to create that mess. I was still remembering everything that she had done to me. I was still bitter. I still had bitterness in my heart. So one day we were just sitting and gossiping about her. As we were gossiping, I was actually laughing at her because she is a woman who cannot say no to a man. It doesn't matter if the guy has money or if the guy doesn't have money. We were laughing at her. Then my little sister said that she heard that there was this other prophet. This prophet actually mixes traditional stuff and Christianity. My sister then told me that she heard about this other prophet. She said that this prophet is very powerful, but the prophet mixes Christianity and traditional stuff. So I wanted to hear more. Then my sister said that I heard that this prophet, what he does is that if you have an enemy, what he will do is that if he finds a dog, a female dog that will be in heat, he takes some stuff from that female dog that will be in heat and he mixes it with some personal items that belongs to your enemy, that your enemy can suffer. In my case, if I was going to do these rituals, my sister-in-law, she was going to become like a female dog that will be in heat. Men will chase after her, not like any amongst those men will want to marry her. They will just want to sleep with her because they will be confused by that charms, the prayers that would have been used and using the dog that will be in heat. So that was the idea. I then went and I spoke with that prophet, and after I had spoke with that prophet, I was then told that I was supposed to collect some items that belonged to my sister-in-law. What I did, Brother Nash, is that I then stole one of her underwear, and after I had stolen it, I then went with it. I lied to my sister-in-law that we were having a problem of rats that were stealing stuff. This was after she had looked for her underwear for a very long time and not finding it. So she was thinking that there was something that had actually bewitched her. I then convinced her that no, those are just rats that are stealing all the items in the house. When she was too suspicious, I then took one of my own and I teared it so that it looked as if a rat had stolen my underwear. And after she had found it, she actually thought that a rat was the one that had chewed up my underwear. After I had returned back from that prophet, I made sure that I placed it in an area where she was going to find it very quickly. After I had returned back from that prophet, I then made sure that I placed it in a spot whereby she was quickly going to find it. After she had found it, she then came to me and she said, "This is what I have found." And she was confused. She didn't know what she was supposed to do. She said, "I think that I am supposed to throw it away because this thing has been missing for a very long time. What if it was someone who had stolen it and then used some charms so that I can suffer?" I then convinced her and I said, no, these are just rats. Look, this underwear of yours, it is still very new. There is no need for you to throw it away. She was convinced and then she took it and she started wearing it. The moment that she started wearing that underwear that had been used by that prophet with all the charms that he had placed on it, she became like a wild dog that was in heat. Men were chasing after her. Even right now, she leads a life that is a risky life. She sleeps with any man, and whenever I see her, I feel so sorry for her, my brother, because the life that she is living, she is like a dog that is in heat. She is being chased by men. You won't even believe what she does. There was a time when she went to South Africa, when she went to work in South Africa. She stopped communicating with all of us. We actually thought that she had died. And then one day, my husband then received a call from this other guy who said that he was the one who had been staying with my husband's sister. Just imagine the disrespect. And at that time, the reason as to why he was communicating with my husband, it was because my husband's sister was critically ill in hospital. Because when she went to South Africa, she started going to the nightclubs, drinking beer, sleeping around with a lot of men. She fell so sick quickly. When she returned back home, I was the one who actually took care of her. Because as for now, I think that she has suffered and the punishment that I gave her, I think that it is okay now, but I am afraid to release this charm, because I am afraid that if I release this charm, what if the charm is going to come on my daughters? Then they will start acting as if they are female dogs that are in heat. I do not want that to happen to my daughters. I want my daughters to live a normal life so that they can get married and have a wedding. I do not want them to end up like their auntie. Whenever I look at her, I feel so sorry, but I am not going to release this charm. Your dear listeners, right there was a narration of a message that I received. It was sent to me by our dear sister, who was saying that she regrets all the things that she did, but she is afraid to release the charms that she used on her sister-in-law.